fast. Drill, baby, drill. We're going to drill, baby, drill. And also on day one, I will seal the border and I will shut down the invasion of our country. It's an invasion. This isn't a normal situation. This is an invasion. Thank you. 3 years ago, we had the most secure border in U.S. history, by far. We built 561 miles of border wall. You know, if there's a little piece, if there's a nail from a wall that was there 75 years ago, a little bit of a nail left from the rust, or if there's a 2x4 that's rotted out laying on the ground someplace, they say, that's not a border wall, that's a renovation. No, it's not a renovation. It was, you'd see little areas where you'd have some dead wood rotting on the ground for 40 years. We built over 500 miles, much more than I said I was going to do. And then we had an additional 200 miles that we were getting ready to put up. We could have done it in 3 weeks. He could have done it. And they decided not to do it. And that was a terrible thing because our border is a mess. But they actually wanted open borders. That was the amazing thing. But we got Mexico to give us 28,000 soldiers free of charge. You know, when we talk about, I said, I'm going to charge Mexico for the wall. This is much more expensive. There was no legal mechanism that Mexico could give us money to build a wall for us. But there was legal precedent for them giving us soldiers. And I went to the president and I said, you're going to have to give us a lot of soldiers. Why? Because they're coming through your country and they're hurting us very badly. No, I won't do that. And I liked him a lot. He said, but would you speak to my representative? So they came to Washington, a delegation. They saw me. The State Department was heading it. And a woman, very good woman, but a lousy negotiator, to be honest with you, a very quality woman. She loved Mexico. She worked on Mexico for 25 years. She said, sir, they will never give you that. We've been trying to get that for 25 years. I said, oh, I'll get it, 100%. I said, what else do you want? And we got Tom Homan involved, who's great, you know, central casting. I think he's central casting. He was great. And we got our Border Patrol people, Brandon Judd and all of these people. These are incredible people. They actually want to do their job. They have a much easier job by not doing their job, but they want to do it. And I said, give me a list of the top 10 things, and Title 42, everything. They gave me a list that one of the things is remain in Mexico. You have to remain in Mexico. You can't come into our country. So I had a list of 10 things. Catch and release in Mexico. We called it catch and release in brackets in Mexico. We have catch and release in our country that nobody would ever leave. So they gave me these things, and this very handsome man shows up representing the president of Mexico. And he said, chief, top guy, and he said, sir, you've asked for some things that, of course, are ridiculous. Of course, yes, you'll give them to us. 100% you'll give them to us. No, we will not. I said, first thing we need 28,000 soldiers, free of charge. No. He goes, why would we do that? We're not going to give you 28,000. Sir, this is ridiculous. I said, no, 100% you're going to give them to us, 100%, I have no doubt. Then I want to have a remain in Mexico policy where people can't come into our country. They have to stay in your country until we vet them. And he said, no, we won't do that. We've never done that. We won't do that. Yes, you will. 100%. I'm telling you, 100%. And he started getting confused. He was saying, like, then we did the problem where very sick people are coming into our country. So we had, as you know, we have a very specific bill that was passed years ago to keep people that are sick. We don't want to catch disease from people that sadly are not feeling so great, and various other things that were just as bad. And I had 10 of them. I said to the Border Patrol, I said to Brandon Judd, give me a top 10 list. And he gave me a top 10. And he smiled. He said, you know, they've been after this for years. They haven't been able to get 1/2 of one. So, because, you know, every country out-negotiates us because we have stupid people running our country for the most part. When you look at what China did, I took in hundreds of billions of dollars. Nobody before me, nobody took in 10 cents from China. So I said, no, this is what I want. And he tells me now, I said, here's the story, sir. I'm signing before me a bill. And if you don't have this approved before the end of this meeting, where we get 28,000 soldiers free of charge, and all of the other things stay in Mexico. We called it Remain in Mexico. Isn't that a nice title, Remain in Mexico? Sounds simple, but it's very complex for them, not for us. I said, then I'm going to sign this. And this says that we are going to put on Mexico a 25% tax or tariff on every car. You know, they sold 32% of our car industry. I don't know if you know that, Jim. 32% of our car industry has been taken out of the United States. It's made in Mexico. They have factories that you wouldn't believe. They go miles long, bigger factories than what we have. They stole it over the years. Not with me. I stopped it. I was going to put a charge of if they make a car in Mexico, sell it in the United States, I was going to put a 30% tariff on it, and they decided not to build those particular factories. But nobody else does that stuff. So I said, here's the story. You're going to either do it or I'm going to put a 25% tax on every single product coming into the United States from Mexico. And that'll be far more money than the money that we're talking about. And he said, sir, may I make a phone call, please? You know the sign of a choker? It's when they start grabbing their neck because they can't breathe. Dan Gable never choked. He doesn't know what I'm talking about because he didn't choke. That guy was a winner. He's only like 150, I think 150-1. I don't know. I think he had COVID for the one or something. I don't know what the hell. But the greatest guy, even Jim Jordan, who was an All-American, three-time All, he said, nope, Dan was the greatest of them all. Do you still say that? That's pretty good, Dan. I mean, it's not chopped liver here, right? But anyway, so I said, all right, come on, you have 5 minutes. Just call up the president. And he walks back. Sir, on behalf of the president of Mexico, it would be my great honor to give you 28,000 soldiers free of charge. Give you, remain in Mexico. Give you catch. The guy's going like, and we got it all. And we had the safest border in the history of our country. It was pretty amazing, and it was pretty easy. Under Biden, the USA has become a dumping ground to the world. And speaking of Mexico, you know, Biden's people went to see them 2 days ago. Mexico said, we want $5 billion just to talk. I said, what? They want $5 billion to talk. And you know what our guy said? We'll consider it. These are the worst. These are the worst people. And it's not even like bad. They're stupid people, okay? They're stupid. They're stupid. In New York City last week, American school children were kicked out of class so that the school could be turned into a migrant camp. And think of this, a migrant camp. Biden puts America last. I put America first. Our border is so important, so important. Now, I do something, and because it's sad, we don't have a lot to do. Okay, but boy, we're going to have a lot to do tomorrow. And you have a lot to do today to talk to your friends, right? Tomorrow's the big day, but we have a little time. Does anybody want to hear the snake? You want it? Takes about, okay. Because I think it's so appropriate. Jim Jordan's never heard this before, I don't think. But it's so appropriate, and it has to do with people coming into your country. It has to do with who they are. You know what you're getting. We know what we're getting. We're getting terrorists. We're getting jailbirds. We're getting guys that were major drug lords coming into our country, staying here. And they're not going to be school teachers. They're not going to be innocent people. They're going to cause tremendous harm and death. And so this is called The Snake. And this was an old rock and roll song, but, you know, amended somewhat. To be honest, probably every word is amended almost by me. But I think it's very instructive, and I think it's very important, actually. On her way to work one morning, down the path along the lake, a tender-hearted woman saw a poor, half-frozen snake. His pretty colored skin had been all frosted with the dew. Poor thing, she cried, I'll take you in, and I'll take care of you. Take me in, O tender woman. Take me in for heaven's sake. Take me in, O tender woman, sighed the vicious snake. She wrapped him up all cozy in a comforter of silk and laid him by her fireside with some honey and some milk. She hurried home from work that night, and soon as she arrived, she found the pretty snake she'd taken in had been revived. Take me in, O tender woman, take me in for heaven's sake. Take me in, O tender woman, cried the vicious snake. She clutched him to her bosom. You're so beautiful, she cried. But if I hadn't brought you in by now, you truly would have died. She stroked his pretty skin again and kissed and held him tight. But instead of saying, "Thank you, ma'am," the snake gave her a vicious bite. "Take me in, O tender woman. Take me in, for heaven's sake. Take me in, O tender woman," sighed the vicious snake. "I saved you," cried the woman, "and you've bitten me, but why? You know your bite is poisonous, and now I'm going to die." "Shut up, silly woman," said the reptile with a grin. "You knew damn well I was a snake before you took me in." The snake, that's our border. We're taking in people from prisons. We're taking in people from mental institutions. We're taking in murderers and drug lords. We're taking in people that are very, very sick with diseases that will be spread all over our nation. We're doing the wrong thing for our country. It's going to be very hard to recover from that, but we're going to start on day one with deportation. Okay? Does that make sense, by the way? Does that make, right? Is there anyone in the room that doesn't get it? Because if you don't, please leave. We don't. You're hopeless if you don't get it. That's what's happening to our country. That's what's at the snake. Just remember it. As soon as I take the oath of office, I'll terminate every open border policy of the Biden administration and begin the largest deportation operation in American history. And, you know, it's not a nice thing to say. It's a tough thing to say. But remember, Dwight Eisenhower, if you actually know, he's a pretty good president. And when he was president, he was very much into exactly that. They had a big border problem, and he'd take people, and they'd just drop them on the other side of the border, but they'd drop back. And then he realized that you had to take them away, and they'd fly them 3,000 miles down into deep South America. And generally, they would never come back. But he was very tough on deportations, and we're going to have to, because what's happening to our country is not sustainable. It's not sustainable. We can't have 15, 16, 18 million people. I mean, they're taking over our schools. They're taking over our hospitals. You go to a hospital, and you can't, and you know, you want to take care of people. They're people, whether they're American people, but it's not sustainable. It's no good. It's not sustainable. Our people are suffering greatly. In Manhattan, you have thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands of people poured into New York, and they're living on Madison Avenue. They're staying on Fifth Avenue. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. And in all due respect to the mayor of New York, he's fighting it as much as he's going to fight it. He's fighting a criminal element, a sick element. He's fighting an element of people that have no idea what they're doing to our country, or they do have an idea, and that's even worse, because if they did, they would know that they're destroying our country. Ron DeSanctimonious and Nikki Haley will never secure our border, and they'll never come close to it. It's only words. DeSanctis, that's the abbreviation. I like that, because you can only say DeSanctimonious. It's good, but you can't say it too many times. And if you look, it's really rather brilliant, I must say. The best might be Pocahontas. You know, somebody said, "What's your best?" Pocahontas was good, you know. I have Indian blood, 1,014th. I have Indian blood. She got her jobs by being a minority, right? She got into Harvard because she was a minority. She got everything, and then she met Trump. And we came up with the name Pocahontas, and she told her friend, "He's killing me with that name." Then they said, "You have to apologize. You have to apologize for what you're doing with her." And I did. I got up and I did. No, I did apologize. I apologize. I'd like to apologize to Pocahontas, the real Pocahontas, for what I've... DeSantis did not introduce a single major piece of border security legislation in his entire time in Congress. He had no idea. He couldn't care less about it. And you know, one thing with a politician, this would be true with me also, but I was from borders from day one. We did so well with borders that in the 2020 election, it never came up. And I used to tell my people, "I want to talk about borders." They say, "Sir, they're not interested." I did such a good job that it wasn't a point of conversation, but we still got millions of more votes than we did the first time.